Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to plunge right into the most compelling info, sort of cut through the noise, and get you the core insights. Today, we're tackling something really significant. It's deeply troubling. Alleged widespread fraud within veterans' benefits. And it all seems to center around what our sources are calling a secret code on the DD 214 form. Now, this code, based on what you shared, isn't just about fake claims. It apparently impacts veterans getting jobs after service, too. So, our mission today, give you a shortcut, really, to understanding this critical issue.
Exactly. And we're going to try and illuminate not just what the sources allege happened, but the really significant implications for veterans, the people who are supposed to be helped by these benefits. The source material we're looking at is powerful stuff. It's a firsthand account, but it's packed with specific allegations, names, examples. It points to systemic problems. And this isn't just about money, is it? It's a fundamental breach of trust. It potentially undermines the whole support system for veterans who are, let's face it, often quite vulnerable already.
Yeah, and the sheer scale of what's being claimed, it's pretty staggering. We're talking widespread identity theft allegations, millions of dollars, and really disturbing claims about active attempts to stop justice. Okay, so let's unpack this. Let's start with the core allegation from these sources. It describes this pretty disturbing identity theft, ghost persons, phony names being created. But the key thing is they're allegedly using real veterans' legitimate claim numbers. It sounds incredibly deceptive.
And this is where that alleged secret code from the DD 214 form seems to come in, according to the sources. These codes, supposedly just for internal VA use, are apparently being manipulated, used to create these fake identities that then, well, siphon off benefits using those real veteran claim numbers. So while the actual veteran gets denied again and again, the sources mention reasons like not enough medical or just flat out denied. This money is supposedly just electronically slipped out month after month to these fraudulent accounts. So sources even detail how one person could apparently have, say, 10 different phony names and go to 10 different banks to collect. It suggests a lot of coordination.
Wow. 10 different names. It's hard to even get your head around that level of alleged deception. But what helps maybe understand how this could potentially happen is some really shocking evidence our sources point to. The arrest and prosecution of 3 lawyers. Right there in the VA General Counsel's office in Washington, D.C. And what were they prosecuted for? Destroying medical evidence from veterans' claims folders.
Right. And this really helps connect the dots, doesn't it? Why would they allegedly destroy that evidence? The sources suggest it was precisely to stop alarm bells going off in the system. If benefits were actually awarded to the real veteran, because as the source puts it, someone might say, hang on, we've been paying that claim number 20 years. Why is this person asking now? And the numbers involved, they're stark. One lawyer allegedly destroyed more than 100,000 documents. Another, Joe Rigolowski, thousands. It just raises this chilling question, how far up does this alleged cover-up go? Does this point to something really systemic?
So it's not just like an oversight or a blind spot. The allegation is it's more like a black hole, actively designed to make evidence disappear. That's genuinely chilling. And to really feel the human impact here, let's look at a specific story. This one comes from Danville, Virginia. Apparently, a gentleman called into a radio show, and he reported that the Danville VA actually admitted checks had been going out for 10 years in the names of veterans who themselves hadn't seen a dime.
Yeah, and there's another incredible story from Danville that illustrates just how blatant this alleged fraud was.
Yeah.
A lady reportedly comes into the VA office pushing a cart to give checks to a veteran who was claiming they hadn't been paid in 10 years. And what they apparently found next was just unbelievable. A great big huge box right there in the director's office full of checks made out to these phonies, millions of dollars worth.
Brilliance. In one box?
Millions. And the source stresses this is supposedly just one place. Imagine this was happening elsewhere. It's not just about the money lost. Think about the erosion of trust for every veteran dealing with the system.
Okay, so given these examples, you have to ask, how widespread is this alleged scheme supposed to be? Is it everywhere?
Well, the sources are clear. It's probably not going on in every single place in America, but it is allegedly happening in enough of these regional offices, particularly in states with large veteran populations. They specifically list New York, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Texas, California, and Florida. And Buffalo, New York's regional office, gets highlighted as a specific example. So what this means, according to the sources, is you could have real veterans with all the right medical evidence waiting 10, 15, even 20 years to get paid because their legitimate claim number is already getting paid, but to someone else entirely.
This whole thing just screams for some accountability. I mean, where is the oversight? How could something allegedly this big go on for apparently so long?
That's the stark claim in the sources. There's no oversight, just flat out. They draw a comparison to, say, how insurance companies operate, using consultants, cross-verification, checks and balances. And they suggest that if you applied that kind of serious review to these VA claims, well, the whole thing could blow sky high. It implies a system that's either, intentionally left vulnerable or just astonishingly lacking in basic controls.
Right. So the sources actually propose a solution. It sounds almost too simple, but maybe revolutionary. Just reissue new claim numbers. To all veterans, the idea being that's how you find out who really is real, who's not real, who's alive, and who's dead. A clean slate, essentially. Interesting. Now, behind these big systemic issues, there's usually someone pushing back, right? A voice trying to expose it. And our sources really highlight one person, Edwin Crosby III. His story kind of brings the human fight against this alleged problem into focus.
Yeah, Crosby's story apparently starts way back in 1974. He heard Walter Cronkite, yes, that Walter Cronkite commenting on TV about hundreds of thousands of codes being relabeled because of problems at the VA. Now, Crosby himself, he was honorably discharged, had top test ratings, but he couldn't get a job, couldn't find work anywhere.
Yeah.
And that personal struggle, that disconnect, led him to start researching. And that's how he apparently stumbled on this whole issue with the alleged secret code.
And he don't just research it, did he? He actually fought it legally. Took litigation about these secret code numbers placed upon main employment reference document of all 26 million American veterans. That's the DD-214 form. He took that fight all the way to the Supreme Court. And even then, he didn't stop. Tried to reopen the case in 96, then again in 2001.
Right, and here's a really crucial part of the allegation. The sources claim that records actually show the government's lawyers committing criminal acts specifically to stop his case from being properly heard.
Criminal acts by government lawyers to stop a case.
That's the allegation. And get this detail. The sources say Crosby met with top senators, some top congressmen, who apparently categorically knew the fraud.
Ah.
They specifically mentioned Senator McCain and Senator Biden as people Crosby claimed knew he saw it, knew about the alleged fraud. So we're not just talking about a legal fight here. The allegation is about a potential suppression of justice at a really high level.
Wow. So the alleged cover-up wasn't just potentially inside the VA, but might have extended to the courts and even involved awareness at the highest levels of government. That's quite an astonishing claim. Okay, so beyond the benefits front itself, what's the wider impact of these alleged secret codes supposed to be on veterans' lives?
Well, the sources explain these codes are apparently administered, shared among corporations all over America. Corporations are reportedly getting lists of these codes.
Yeah.
And the consequence, as it's laid out, is profound. You could be a veteran, honorable discharge, medals on your chest, all the badges, as the source says. But if one of these alleged negative codes is attached to your record, you could be denied a job or denied benefits. So it's like an alleged double betrayal, isn't it? First, potentially preventing them from getting the benefits they earned through service, and second, potentially blacklisting them from civilian employment afterward.
So wrapping this up, this deep dive has really uncovered a pretty complex web. Allegations of fraud, serious systemic issues, all profoundly affecting the people who've served the country. It really highlights how critical it is to understand how information or, misinformation and the alleged manipulation of records can truly impact lives, especially the lives of those who've already sacrificed so much.
Yeah, and it really leaves you with an important question, doesn't it, for you, the listener? When you consider these allegations, the scale of the fraud, the reported destruction of evidence, the claims of efforts to suppress this information, what further steps do you think might be necessary to ensure real transparency and accountability for veterans' benefits? And maybe how can you use this kind of understanding to look critically at other claims you might hear about big systemic problems?
That's definitely something to think about. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive today. We really encourage you to keep exploring, keep questioning the critical issues shaping our world. Thanks for spending your time with us.